Coming up on today's show, Kittyhawk's Jaguar. We got off to a flying start, or not really, on the Jaguar. Part 1 went up on Monday, so we'll be having a recap of that. Tuesday's live show, John Buller joined us. We had a great show. I'll be having a quick recap of that one. Wednesday saw the last part of the Meng, this is the Ford F350 truck with all the troublesome paintwork, so we'll be having a look how that one finished off. Kit reviews that went up this week. We've got the Wingnut Wings Monster Felixstowe. This thing really is massive. Great review of that one is on the site right now. Plus we've got the Matador and a reference book to go with that one. New section on the site. I know it's quite cringeworthy, really childish, but boy was it a lot of fun. Destroy my model. Oh god. Plus all the other news and gossip from the site. Hello, welcome to Flory Models. I'm Flory. Well, what a week. Amazing week. A fun week as well, as you're going to see a little bit later on in the show. Needless to say, we had quite a lot of fun destroying a certain scud thing for one of our new features a little bit later on in the show. Anyway, all started Monday, on with the Jag. To be honest, so you've seen part 1 already, it was up there, and I explained during that build that it's not a nice kit. It's pretty horrible really at the end of the day, but it's one of those kits where you just sort of have to say, right, okay, it doesn't fit, there's big gaps and it's got to be horrible, but literally just throw yourself into it. So that's what I did with this one. So let's have a quick look. These are the brake lines for the black back and the hydraulic lines for the actual main gear. So very simple, couple of strips of 0.4mm going down, and then one coming off of this hydraulic system, okay, going up. Sorry, that's the right way up, might even be better. So that's the gear, so it's just the brake lines going down, things like that, and a hydraulic line. So we've just added both of those. Easiest way to do it is like I've done here. What I tend to do is I start off by gluing them or fixing them at one end and just having long bits left over like this, and then what you can actually do is just generally feed it exactly how you want it to be. Okay, so if you want them running next to each other, you can push them next to each other and then just running them round. Like these are going to go down for being lighting and various things, and for the main gear on the front, so you might just put down some wiring like this. This one here I'm going to have running up at the side, okay, and it's going to go down. A little bit tricky with these because obviously I need the other gear bits to go on, so I'm going to leave them loose until I've got that all put together. The biggest area for using it is going to be in the cockpit, so, and on this instrument panel and the engines. Okay, so this is our instrument panel, as you can see in here. Now, when you're trying to glue onto something that's flat with lead wire, it's very difficult because you put a drop of glue on the end, you come along and then you try and put it in and it doesn't quite go, it doesn't hold, it always falls off. What I tend to do, and no, we're not having a seance, I have a candle, and I put it down now, here he is, a very small drill bit. Now the trouble is, if you was to be drilling this, it takes forever because it's such a small bit. What I tend to do, okay, is to literally, let's move this slightly out of the camera, heat up the needle. A little bit of puff smoke there just because where it's thingy. Take it to its red hot, okay, like this, and then literally you can just come along exactly where you want it, and then you can push in, and then on here it's a particularly thick bit, so what you do, you let it go on so it's actually melted on there now, and then you can give it a twist and drill a bit, okay, and then because this is on a particularly thick bit, it's going to take 2 attempts to go through, but the longer you heat up the needle, the longer it will keep its heat. Okay, so you just come in like that, and there we go, it's gone through this time. And what happens is it melts the hole. If you used to pull it straight out, what would happen is the hole will cover over where it's melted. So you leave it in there and now it's gone firm. So then you can use the actual drill bit, and by drilling and turning you can come along. I don't know how well you can see that, but you've got the holes all left in there. And that's then when you come along with your lead wire, say, so this is a little bit of 0.3mm here, you can actually just come along, and there's that hole we made, poke it through the hole, fold it over on the back, okay, and then you can glue and secure it. All right, so for this one you could come along and say, right, okay, and just have all the wires hanging through, fold them all over, glue them, secure it, and then you've got something pretty strong to hold on to, as you grab hold of it then and bend it round and take it, everything else. Yeah, if that was just super glued on the end there, it will ping off, all right? So it's easier to make a small hole, go right the way through, and you're in there. And by using a candle to heat up a needle, it could just be normal sewing needle, and push through. Trouble is with a sewing needle, I find if you go in there and then pull back out, one, sometimes the hole's quite large, and secondly, it might cover over. By using a drill bit, you can actually use obviously the bit itself then to make the hole a perfect shape and diameter for when you come back out. So there you go. As I say, it's just a little look of it. Sometimes it's one of those kits where you have to think, okay, it's better than, let's face it, the new Reeboks of the Hella AFV kit that Reveal have just kicked out. Because it's far more detailed and everything else like that. The drawback is that obviously because it's more detailed, when you've got a mass filler job like this, you have to put it all back. And like on those underwings, going around and putting the rescribing all back in there and everything else, you've got to do that over the entire model. So what takes, you know, normally putting together and all the rest of it, you know, perhaps 10 hours, something else like that, you've got to add another few hours of rescribing, re-riveting detail to put all in there. So it's like a double-edged sword, you know. Yes, it's far more detailed, it's beautiful and everything else, but when it doesn't fit, it turns what should be a straightforward construction job into quite a laborious, long process that you really have to go through. So this one now is just about finished. Just finished all the rescribing, all the re-riveting all over this one. I've deliberately left it for a couple of days just to see if we've got any sink marks from the filler. To be honest, I have got a little one on top of the wing here I need to take care of before this one actually then can have the canopy put on, closed all up actually everywhere, and brought over to the paint job and moved through like that. But I have to say, fit after fit issue is like pulling your hair out after a little while on it. Tuesday, had a great live show. Big thanks to John Buller for coming down, as you saw. He was with us for the evening and everything else like that. We tried the new system, if you like. We've hardwired one of the computers is now down here in the studio with us, which does all our live streaming and everything else like that. I hope that it all worked pretty well. It's a bit of a troublesome thing, but hopefully now we've cured all those little problems that we've been having with quality issues and things like that. Should stream a lot quicker, faster and everything now, because instead of it being on a 20-foot cable going to the hub, it's all down here, it's all wired into the system and everything else like that, and now it's over there. It actually makes my job a little bit easier because I've got a big powerful computer in here as well instead of the little laptop, so I can do more things. And for you guys that will be here on Sunday that have been here before, so it's quite nice. It's not my gaming rig and everything's down here as well now, so hopefully I've still got on with lots of work. During Tuesday, we had George with us as well. He came down for the afternoon, one of the members, so well done George for making it down. I hope it didn't drive you totally potty. We did some damage to a scud. I wanted to put it onto the live show as well. We tried to stream it, it didn't work, so I need to work on. But later on in the show, we're going to show you the footage which has now been edited and it's in slow motion and everything, to what happened to Peter's poor scud. This is the Trumpeter 135th, or what's left of it, after myself and Sid took it out, quite frankly, and turned it into a bit of a mess. So that was a fun day on Tuesday. Wednesday we had basically the last part up of the truck, the F350, and it looks something like this. Okay, there we go, all completely finished off. We just finished doing those extra little bits, so as you probably see, the bonnet or the hood system is all put down on there, fixed in. You can probably see the headlights. We've touched in those little white daubs of paint we had front around the front end. Headlights are painted. Around the back, see the tail lights are all in. We've also put the black strip across the actual back of the tailgate, and when it's down, we've also painted the inside, touched up a little few areas just inside the boot liner there, just to tidy it all up, make it a little bit more natural, and generally just going around to finish it all off. Really enjoyed the build. It was one of those things. The build, I had loads of fun. It's totally different from any other type of building I'm used to doing. It's great because it's more like construction. You're just putting together parts that are pretty well perfectly matched and going through. So you're not using things like filler, you know, which normally, you know, we do in aircraft modelling and armour modelling, things like that. We use a lot of filler. Didn't use any on this one. And a lot of the parts are like almost click fit. They're almost like push fit parts, which are absolutely fantastic. So thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just one of those builds that unfortunately I sort of lost the mojo to it, shall we say, when it came to this paintwork. I had such good intentions of it being a fantastic paint finish and going through with it and everything else like that. And as you can see, you catch it in the light, it is a nice finish. And On camera, to be honest, it doesn't particularly show that well. Okay, generally it's one of those things, in natural light works so much better, because on here you can't see the sort of purples. I've got a lot more purples in front of me as I look down on this, but generally the paintwork went on really well. It's a nice smooth, we've got no orange peel and all the usual things that go on with this one. It's just that from our point of view, we were hoping to have this great effect with candy paints and pearlescence and things like that, and unfortunately it just never worked. It just never came off from my point of view. Now, I'm not saying obviously they're useless and they don't work, it's just I couldn't get them to work for my particular situation and all the rest of it. I think I could have done the paintwork a lot easier. Literally, as I've said, Tamiya paints using clear colours and things like that to lay down to get a similar effect, and we wouldn't have had the trouble with this drying. It's dry now, but this is 3 weeks after it has been painted, and it's finally dry to the touch, and to be able to hold it without leaving fingerprints in it and everything else like that. But generally, as a model goes, it is just it's a bit like the old Marmite, as we say in the UK. You either love this or you hate it. A lot of people have seen it, have said it's a great model, don't get me wrong, it's just not my cup of tea, I wouldn't build it. It looks like it's die cast and all the rest of it. That's very true. Obviously, we've done no weathering on this one, and we haven't done our usual ways of grinding this thing up. Obviously, we could go in with washes and give it mud staining and make it look perhaps a little bit more realistic and in a little set or a diorama or something else like that. But from our point of view, I want to do something completely alien, and that is to do a factory finished show model. Okay, and that's why we've ended up with doing it this way. So underneath here, as you say, we've got no dirtiness. The actual inside the engine bay, as you can actually see it, there's absolutely nothing at all. It's absolutely spotless everywhere. And sometimes it's nice to do this type of thing, to go through it like this, to have a factory finished model, to test your skills, because also it's a different way of modeling, because you're trying to keep everything nicely clean. You're not trying to go round and, you know, make it dirty. You're trying to keep it as pristine as possible. That means, you know, clear glass, perfect paint finishes and everything else like that. So it's something that, you know, perhaps isn't my everyday type of build, but something I thoroughly enjoyed doing, and testing a new skill set as well. The way it goes together, working with, you know, obviously the chassis and painting that, and then working our way around to doing all the paint work, and then just final assembly, putting it together very carefully. And everything else like that. As I said, I think a lot of the problems with this particular kit are probably more mine than the kit itself. If you were just going to be doing a standard paint job on it, something else like that, I don't think you have a problem. But the fit issues, things like that, it hasn't got any. It's a lovely kit. So if you are into your vehicles and especially your trucks, things like that, these Meng kits are an absolute must. They really are nice. So there you go. For once it's not here. The reason I've got it here is actually it's in my display cabinet now, and it's tucked in, and it's quite a pain to get in and out. Yeah, as I said in that video, it's going to be one of those things where I think I can do it better by doing techniques I know. When I said that, I meant to mean it as in that, you know, obviously the guys who do it that way, who are probably professional car builders by trade and all the rest of it, they know how this stuff works. From my point of view as an amateur coming in, I wasn't sure how they were going to work and how it was going to be. So probably I made loads of schoolboy errors through that entire paint job and everything else. I'm very happy with the finish as it is now. It's just that I'm thinking I could probably do it better and quicker, perhaps my way, but as I say, it's nothing derogatory to the guys who do it that way, because there's nothing wrong with it, and it does give a fantastic finish, and I'm very happy with it at the end of it. Although, as been mentioned, it's far too clean. Yeah, I know, but you know, that was the whole point of it. It's supposed to be clean. For once, I built something pristine. I'd never do that. I love to weather and chip and scuff and dent and everything else. So to do something a little bit pristine was a real challenge, you know, and that was the point to that entire build, to do something that has challenged me, pushed me to the limit, and it certainly did that. And as I've said, I'm looking forward to this year going to be doing an F1 car, and I'm going to do a Tamiya bike as well, in the same type of thing. They'll be spotlessly clean and everything else. So it takes a little bit away from doing, you know, bombers and fighters that are going to be dirty and everything else, and it gives you a new sense of skill set as well, because obviously dealing with chrome parts that have to be polished and look perfect, and then obviously paintwork that's polished and perfect and everything else like that, totally different skill set to knocking a bomber together where you just hammer it together and away you go. So anyway, so that was quite good. And then on yesterday, Thursday, we had a load of reviews up for you. So these are all up on the site now. So currently up on the site, we've got this monster, which is the Wing That Wings. Did the review on that one. It was kindly sent down to me. No, it's not my kit. No, I'm not going to build it. It is a monster, and you can understand. Some of the guys are saying in the forum that it's okay, you can take the wings off for storage. But my point is, how can you do that when it's covered in rigging? Because this rigging wire all goes to the wings and everything else. So surely you can't just unplug it, put it down, because especially if you're using elastics and threads, it's not so bad because it can stretch to get them out. But if you're using wires and that, you're not going to be able to do that. And I can imagine it being a nightmare. So personally, I wouldn't dare undo it. I should think though, if you've got the trestles under it and all the bits and pieces, you're not going to have any trouble with it sagging over time. But it certainly is a big old beast, and you think it's bigger than this lump down here, and certainly weighs a ton. But again, kudos to Wingnut Wings to bringing a fantastic, amazing museum quality kit, you know, to us. But so it comes at a price, 250 quid basically. So by the time you've done all the other bits and pieces on there, you're going to be looking nearer 300 if you're going to go with the aftermarket bits as well. So, you know, something to think about, but it is one of those things, a definite museum piece. And if you've got room for these things, invite me round, because I'd love to see them all, because you must have a massive place to fit all those in. Something else that was sent to me as well, as you said, I never see these kits because, say, they're out of my, you know, my zone of looking for kits, but it was absolute joy. The AFV Club 1/35 scale, this is the Matador. Absolutely beautiful. It's a fantastic kit. The quality and the engineering of the plastic and everything else like that. We know FV are good, but this is one of their better ones. I tell you, that is an absolute stunner. And also went with it, it's a little bit of a standalone. I did them as a separate, perhaps I should have done them the same review, but it's a different item. We've got this great reference book as well. It's only like a 3 or 4 minute quick flick through that I do with it as a review. But if you are thinking about building that, then you need a reference book. This really is the one. It's definitive for it. It covers absolute everything. And it is a fantastic book, but that is a brilliant little kit up there, and you know, something that you know, one day I might even tackle myself, because as I say, something a little bit different, and I'm liking, I must be getting older now, because I'm liking doing the older things. Before, younger, I'm just building a fighter, you know, just the fighters, and then it get armour slipped in there, and now I'm thinking of civilian stuff and trucks and all stuff like that. So definitely something else. All of those reviews are up on the actual news page, on the Today page, but also they're in the review section of the forum as well, which is spreading and spreading and getting bigger and everything else like that, and on the main site as well. So hopefully that will all be up to date as we make our way through that. What else have we got going on? Got to mention from the sales team, the the polishing set 3 is back in stock on the site. The polishers are standalone are not. But I know it sounds all a bit complicated and weird, but it's how they work it. They do have a eBay store as well, which has got everything in stock. It's different stock levels and controls. They're all professional. When I did it, I just had a box for and they just went out, but they've got stock levels and controls, and it just so happens it's slightly different. The polishers should be on the main site again next week. And everything else like that. Whilst we're speaking of it, we spoke about it a little bit the other week. The new, very posh, very glossy. We've had these printed from a local company who does a lot of our printing now, and they've used a new system and these are new vinyl weatherproof stickers. They're extremely thin, so they should conform to absolutely everything like that. As I say, they're just, I think they're 155mm across when they're peeled off and everything else like that, because they're die cut inside this and everything else. So they are fantastic stickers. This now replaces the old one where we used to have the red one and the smaller ones. So now in the sticker set, if you do want to purchase it, it's available. It's £4.50 for all 3 of the girls. So you've got our original logo, you've got the wash one, and the sander now as well. So they are available on the actual store page on the main site. I don't think they've got them on the eBay shop yet, but they might come a little bit later on. But certainly from our point of view, they're here and everything like that. So if you are thinking of stickers and stuff, then they're the ones to go with. Okay, we can't put this off any longer. We had a lot of fun destroying this. It's a section that came up during one of our live shows, and we were talking about when you were a kid, of actually you know, taking an air rifle to your model to destroy it. Now I said, just, you know, off the bat, if anybody's got an old model they want us to destroy, send it down and I'll destroy it, because I haven't got anything to destroy yet. Okay, poor old Buster, you know, he might come to this stage, but because he's quite famous now, I haven't got the heart to actually destroy him. But I was expecting to be sent down things like your Busters and stuff like that. What I wasn't expecting is £100 Scud to turn up. This is the Trumpeter Scud, and it looked stunning, you know, and as you can see in this picture here, it was a beautiful model. There was nothing wrong with it. And when Peter sent it down to me, he said, no, I've hated this thing, it's done all the rest of it. And I did double check with him, and then I must admit, you know, Mel saw it and she was like, you can't destroy that, that's just wrong, it's too nice, and everything else. And then Sid came in and he was like, that's too good, and anything else. But, you know, a job's a job, and we did have to do it. So obviously back in the day we had air rifles. Now we have things a little bit more powerful. This is my M27 and this is a 6mm BB skirmish gun, fully automatic, firing 6mm 0.25 gram BBs, which obliterate this. Sid is into this as well. We both skirmish together and everything else. So let's have a look at the footage, shall we? Welcome to our new section. This is called Destroy My Model.
Indeed.
Okay, Peter has sent us his fantastic, quite frankly, and we're appalled to do this, Scud.
Definitely.
This
Seems
is
a shame.
the Trumpeter Scud that unfortunately he's had loads of trouble with. So he sent it down to us to destroy it. So for this particular one, we're going to be using BB guns. So M4 versus M27. We'll probably take some single shots and then go fully automatic at it. So, well, we'll move out the way, on, and give it a whirl. Right, okay, so single shot to start with, here we go. Alright, we're going to go auto. 3, 2, 1. That's 400 rounds. Oh no! Auto. 3, 2, 1. That's 400 rounds. Oh no! So, well, what can we say?
That was a bit mullered.
It is a bit mullered. Yeah, so the next video next week is putting it together. Are you clear?
Yep.
So we'll have a quick look at the damage with close-up cam. Alright, iPro's off. So, unfortunately, yeah, that went quite well.
In fact, that went really well.
I enjoyed that.
That was good, that, wasn't it? So yes. Well, there we go, Peter. Well, I hope you're very happy with our endeavours this week. Anything you'd like to say to Peter? We enjoyed that.
Thank you, Peter. Much fun.
Thank you, Peter. We thoroughly enjoyed doing that.
If you enjoyed that, then please send us more.
Yeah, but honestly, you don't have to be that good.
No, definitely not.
Because that seemed criminal, quite frankly. I'll get these boxed up to you and sent back to you, Peter. So there we go. Thank you, Peter, for allowing us to do that. I must admit, I did feel absolutely terrible. In fact, I think the first 4 or 5 shots was Sid. I have to say this, just blame him. Because I was literally hesitating to do it and I thought, well, he's getting stuck in, so here we go. And then we both shot. I do have to point out, obviously, both myself and Sid are full UCARA members here in the UK, which allows us to have RIFs, realistic imitation firearms like this. We're all licensed and insured and all the bits and pieces, so that's why we can actually own, use and everything, these things. Obviously, it was done on private lands. It's done here. We were all wearing full eye protection, and everybody else who was watching it at the time was watching it as well. So just to cover the legal thing. If you would like us to destroy one of your models, please send it down. Please don't send us nice models though, because it's really horrible to do that. We have lined up our next challenge. It's not going to be using one of these. It's actually going to be using my 1/16 scale radio controlled Tiger tank. John, who was here on the live show, after he was that impressed after watching the footage from that, he said we could destroy one of his tanks. So I think he's got a JS, a Joseph Stalin tank. I don't know which one it was. I think it's a 7. And he's going to bring it down next time, and we're going to shoot it because my radio controlled tank is BB firing as well. So we're going to shoot it. We're going to mount the GoPro onto the tank, and then I can run it over as well because it's full metal. It weighs a ton, that thing. So it should make a nice mess of his. So that's something to be coming up on our next show. But if you would like to see it on our new section called Destroy My Tank, or Destroy My Work, Destroy My Aircraft, whatever it is, but it's a new section called Destroy My Model. It's heartbreaking to do, but it's just a little bit of fun at the end of the day, and we hope you enjoyed it as well. So there we go, that just gets rid of those. And as I say, we are all fully thingied for these things. So I'll just get rid of that because that weighs a ton enough. And everything else. So there we go, that was a little bit. Just got to quickly run through everything. Thank you for all the kind feedback on last week with the various things from the forum and stuff like that. Just run you through, we've got the Night Fighter SIG is running from till the 5th of April, so you've got a little bit longer on that one. Currently there's 71 entries in that, there's 7 completed. The Stirring Up Dust, which is our current group build going on at the moment, we've currently got 127 entries into that one. Only 4 finished, but that one only started the other day ago. And the other thing as well, just started up, we've got the Towed and Towing SIG going on at the moment. It's going to run till the 10th of May. It's got 16 entries in that one as well. So there's plenty of group builds and SIGs and everything going on. I do have to apologise for the guys, mainly Australia and America, who haven't got your medals yet. Yes, I've had a couple of you said I haven't received it. Don't panic, they are coming out. Our limited edition black badges that we have, the Flory models black badge, which is basically like this one on a metal badge. Unfortunately, I've run out of them. So I ordered more in, and the company I get them from, to be honest, took forever to get them here. They are here now, and they have all gone out, so bear with me. But certainly all the UK guys, you should have had yours a long time ago now, and everything else like that. But I just did UK, Europe, and then I was working my way around for posts, so when I go down, it's just handing over those areas, and they go like that. But they're all on the way out to you now, and everything else like that. So congratulations. So that's about it for this week. I'm going to leave you with Sid from the live shows, done the actual final reveal video for the Cold War SIG that finished, I think, just before Christmas. It was my fault, I didn't give him the music and the bits to get it done earlier, so but he's finally got that one out of the way and done, so thanks to him for doing this one. So I'm going to leave you with your fantastic work from the SIG build. So until next week everybody, happy modelling and take care.